What's going on, everybody? How you doing? In this video, this is part 2, Alex LIFESON interview talking about acoustic guitars on Snakes and Arrows. Amazing. Cool. Talking about his thin-ass guitars. Anyways, this is a donation request. This is for Todd. Yeah, we're going to check out and close out with part 2. Let's do this, bam.
I think what's interesting, too, is that some of the guitars that you were choosing to use, the smaller body things, parlor guitars or mandola or the bouzouki, all have that kind of register a little bit where they are more kind of zingy and kind of and that so it certainly
zingy
seems to work well that you're attracted to that kind of
well, I had
sound.
no shortage of really nice acoustics there that had very different characteristics and played different roles.
Yeah.
And it's nice. I have to say that I really quite like the Garrisons. I mean, I like the fact that they're made in Canada. I think they make a great guitar. I think they're very dedicated to what they do.
Yeah.
I like the innovative approach that they have to the bracing inside the guitars. I think it's very effective. I find with this guitar, in a live situation, it's really a great guitar because the bottom end is really kind of a little more controlled.
Yeah.
And with a live application like this, especially with other stuff going around, drums and that.
I know a lot of guys spend a lot of money on really fancy pickup systems that don't work so well. They're always fussing over them, and sometimes just a piezo that's properly balanced is kind of just appropriate, especially at louder volumes. Is that what you just have in yours?
Well, are you talking about the
inside the guitars for live?
Garrisons,
are you mixing microphones as well, or is it just the piezos?
The Garrisons, they've got Fishman transducers in them.
Oh, okay.
The piezos, but we're also running them through the Fishman Aura.
Right.
So we're getting a little bit of additional shaping before it goes out to the console.
Yeah.
So I think we're getting quite a good acoustic, pretty natural acoustic sound without using any microphones.
Great, yeah. Because I know sometimes the little tiny microphones inside the guitar are kind of cool. They work for some people, but
we tried that,
yeah.
But it was a little dark.
Yeah.
And
well, to cut through all the
enormous
sound.
Yeah, I could see it if I was sitting in the middle of the stage and just playing.
Yeah.
But in almost all the songs except Hope, where I use acoustics, the whole band is playing, and it would just get completely washed. We need that clear articulation that that mic usually provides the warmth, you know, and that's not really an issue for us.
And I wanted to mention a couple of the in the credits. Maybe you could talk a little bit. I know you've been mentioning Stephen Bennett and David Gilmour in some of your articles and stuff, and he's mentioned in credits in the new CD.
Yeah.
Stephen gave you that capo.
Yeah.
Which I guess you'd never really used before, did you?
No. Stephen was, I think you were with me the night I met Stephen.
Yeah.
And I'd been playing a lot of acoustic around that time. I know you and I got together a few times, and I was really kind of feeling an acoustic thing. And that's what was great about recording Snakes and Arrows. It was really an acoustic record. I mean, I wrote the whole of it, all
really?
the stuff on acoustic for this record. And when I met with Stephen and saw him play and heard him play,
really?
and goofed around with the Hart guitar and kind of struggled to get my head around it, you know, we were at is it Paul or who was it?
Oh, with the church?
No. Afterwards when we went back
Randy's
place.
Yeah.
Randy's place. I lost my train of thought. It was just nice to jam with him and play a little bit and talk about guitar.
Yeah, I was wondering if you're thinking the same thing I was too, because I had kind of been aware a little bit of, you know, the capos and the partial capos, and I got one afterwards as well. And the thing is, but I was kind of afraid to start messing with them because I thought, oh no, God, I'm going to open up a new world of pain here, and like, is my head going to explode, you know?
Yeah, well, that happens, but for me,
it's
it was
good
exciting.
Though. Yeah.
Because I've been playing with some different tunings and screwing around, and I wanted to look at the guitar as a new instrument, and what better way than to put stuff and tune things in such a way that you're totally uncomfortable with it, and you have to learn to play around it.
Yeah, and people, I mean, you can't underestimate the power of how important guitar is to people, especially in bands like your band and other bands of that genre. And if that element is, I mean, when it's prominent, I think it really speaks to people. You know, and I was going to mention too about some of the writing. I know you guys were writing on acoustics, and I think that you probably went in that period lasted quite a while there, where you were probably exchanging demos and writing kind of that way, and then maybe even tracking drums to clicks without or to recorded backing tracks, so you weren't even in the room, probably all three of you playing bed tracks, right?
Seldom.
Yeah. Oh, did you ever go through a period doing that when you were tracking, when you kind of add the drums in later?
Typically, we set up as we're writing. We play to a drum machine or a click track.
Yeah.
And then Neil will, put his, as they develop, his drum parts on. We'll quite often re-record some of the stuff because now, he's feeling it a little differently, and we want to match it a little better. And then we'll use those instrument tracks as our guide tracks. And then once we get into the proper recording, Neil will re-record the drums, and then we'll re-record everything else. Main Monkey Business, we did go in and played it off the floor. That was the one song where we wanted to get everybody playing it and get a feel for it.
But that really translates, doesn't it? I mean, there's something happens, like especially even at the end of the tune, when it really starts to get really powerful.
Yeah.
I love how the hi-hat pans around the room in 5.1 at the end. That's wicked.
Yeah, that song live is sounding better and better every day.
So you're happy with how the new stuff's sounding live then, eh? Because I know it's a lot of work.
Great. It's a lot of work.
9 songs,
we probably spent 3 weeks just getting these songs in a shape that was, adequate for us.
I mean, if you think about it, you can imagine you guys have never done a tour where you've done 9 new songs, right?
Wow.
Because LPs weren't that long back then.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
But to commit to 9 songs, I think it says something.
Wow.
We really celebrated our history 3 years ago at the R30 tour, and we played all the old material, or a lot of old material, and we sort of got that out of our system. And now we like to feel like we're moving forward. We're still doing,
of course,
classic Rush songs that
you have to.
We'll have to play until the band is finished. But
right.
to bring 9 new songs into the set,
that is a lot. That's a lot.
We're not thinking about the past anymore.
That's like the whole damn album, probably, practically.
Contemporary band.
And of course it's going over just probably as well as the last tour, right?
Well, even better. Our attendance is up across the board. The reviews have all been extremely positive. I think we're playing perhaps the best we've ever played.
Yeah.
Sonically, it's sounding really good. So we're in a good good state right now.
Right on. I got just one more question, I guess. Which I thought is kind of interesting. Something I wonder if you ever noticed. A lot of disciplines and from athletes to musicians will kind of cross-train and work on some other area that kind of spills over and affects the area they're working on. Like you'll have golfers that'll weight lift, you'll have musicians that'll meditate or do archery, like Steve Howe does archery. I was wondering if you've noticed I know you've been doing a little bit of yoga for the last couple of years and of course you golf. Do you notice that stuff kind of makes you a better musician, or kind of makes you think better or differently towards? Have you noticed that at all?
I'll tell you, it makes me a happier musician. And that is the key on the road.
That's a good point.
Your worst enemy on the road is boredom.
Yeah.
It's one thing to sit in your room and play all day, but I don't know anybody who does that. I certainly don't. I might have when I was younger,
right?
But I certainly don't need to do that now, or feel the need to do that now.
Yeah.
But for me, a little bit of yoga, the golf, getting out of my room, breathing some fresh air, being with other people, separating myself from the band and what I do is a really, really good thing for me as a musician. As a touring musician, I should probably qualify.
Yeah.
I think it's important to have different things going in your life. Everybody's, got a lot of other interests, and it's important to pursue them, especially when you're on the road.
Yeah. Great. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time out. I know how busy you are, so enjoy the rest of the tour.
Great.
And I guess we'll see you when you get back.
Okay, great.
Thanks a lot, Al.
Good to talk to you.
Yeah, I'll talk to you.
Okay.
See ya.
Cool. All right. Wow. Yeah, that's very interesting. They do nine songs on the tour, like new songs on the tour. Wow, that is a lot. And I don't know how many of them were recorded. I talked already about, or actually, when this comes out, you won't have known. Yeah, you wouldn't have known yet. So at the end of Russian Rio, I talk a bit about how I'm going to handle the rest of the live albums. So I won't go into that again. You'll have to catch it then. It's at the end of one of the videos. I don't remember which one. I don't remember which one. You'll just have to watch. So that's very interesting. And I'm definitely interested to check out any of the live stuff that I've not heard before, basically, such as what they're talking about. If any of this was recorded and it's on the Snakes and Arrows tour, like the live stuff, yeah, definitely check that out. What are they talking? It's like a mostly acoustic record, or is this going to be like almost more like a Farewell to Kings kind of deal where like there's more acoustic on the album than not? Maybe. I don't know. I'm wondering what that's about. That kind of had me freaked out at first. Like, wait a minute, this is like an acoustic album? No. Maybe it's just one where they're using acoustic a lot to layer things, and there's just more acoustic present. Maybe. We'll see. I don't know yet. You guys know I don't know yet. So, and it sounds like maybe the song Hope is like mainly acoustic. Totally guessing just from what they're talking about. It's cool using some guitar Garrison acoustics. They look like an acoustic guitar. Nothing special or specific. I suppose the inside, whatever they're doing on the inside might be a bit different. Some kind of bracing he was talking about. Looks like there's some cross. I don't know how they normally look. I'm not a guitar player or an acoustic guitar player. I'm a bass player, so. But that's cool. Dig it. Psyched to hear that album. What that's going to sound like. What that's going to be like. Oh yeah, he talked a bit about like capo and using alternate tunings to kind of open up. Okay, so there's this guitar player, this lady guitar player. What is her name? Where she uses all these open tunings, and it's pretty wild. These like different tunings, and I've thought about that kind of thing, especially after watching her. I'm like, man, that's really cool. What is her name? It's like Yvette, is that it? Yvette Young. That's her. Yeah, that's her, Yvette Young. Yeah, really different stuff just from changing the tunings on the guitar. I think that she uses like an open tune, some kind of open tuning or something like that. It makes the guitar, especially with stuff like Polyphia, like that kind of music going on, bringing this kind of element into it also, just like it just kind of helps like reinvent or reinvigorate the guitar and the guitar sound and just the thought of guitar and how you use guitar. We've been, standard tuning for decades, for freaking ever. So to be doing things like this is actually really cool. So yeah, to bring that to your playing would just kind of, first of all, you're going to be relying way more on your ears, which is great because then you're going to be playing more of what you're hearing as opposed to just what muscle memory tells you to do. Right? Because if you've been playing and playing and playing, you want to develop muscle memory. But at some point, it becomes kind of stale, where it's like, okay, I'm playing the same things. So if you all of a sudden adjust your tunings and you don't know what your shapes are anymore, you really have to just use you're going to be making a lot more mistakes, but you're going to be searching out the sound that and the notes that you're looking for, as opposed to just what your muscle memory is telling you. So I think it's really cool. Yeah, and especially like, at his age when this came out, it's like, yeah, you've been doing it longer than I have at my age, right? To bring in different things in the mix to kind of get a different view on the instrument is very cool. Oh yeah, other aspects of like doing different. He talked about doing different things like he said that Alex does yoga and golf, and I remember Philip Bailey of Earth, Wind and Fire saying that you have to, like, as a musician and an artist, you have to train like an athlete. Like you got to train like a basketball player or a football player or whatever. Like you have to train like you are a kind of musical athlete, right? You have to train like that. Obviously, just seeing Alex, you could tell he doesn't train in that kind of way. Maybe at Dunkin' Donuts. That's a cheap dig. I'm sorry. Anyways, but in that kind of way, you have to train. So it's all, it's all of these things, and he's saying the same thing, where it's like, you're more than just a musician or an artist or a band, or it's like, everybody has, especially as you get older, it's like everybody has lives, they have kids, they have families, they have other interests, things that they're doing, and that just makes you a more rounded person. Of course, all of it is gonna tie into each other and influence each other, right? That's just normal. And yeah, it would make you more, relaxed and happy, because it's like, if you're just like, you can only pound the pavement for so long, of just like, all I'm doing, like he's saying, like, he doesn't know anybody that is practicing in the hotel room still, like at his, when you're younger, yeah, sure, but like at some point it's just like, that's not, you get to a certain level or a certain place with it, it's like, okay, there's more than just doing this constantly, like freaking a mad person. That would almost make you super weird, and maybe socially weird, all kinds of things. So it just doesn't make sense. There's more to life. So very cool. Awesome. Cool interview. Psyched to, as a little pre Snakes and Arrows. Wow. Excited to get into Snakes and Arrows. That's going to be coming up really soon, so be on the lookout. All right, guys. Thank you very much. I'll catch you in the next video.